All right, I just hung up from Jamie and we talked for an hour and 17 minutes and fantastic conversation. So Jamie, love you too. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I wanted to know her whole story. She told me her whole story. She said, "Well, thanks for listening to me ramble." I said, "No, I asked you all those questions. I wanted to get you rambling because that's the only way we get to know each other." And her story is like my story and like your story. I said, all sheep have the same story. I told her, I said, that's why I wanted to record it. I think everybody would have got a real kick, a real charge out of listening to her story and everything that she went through, through marriage and divorce, talking about who her husband was and everything that he was involved in and different places that she had worked and the depths that those places were involved in. Um, the tragedy that had been all in her life, and she's a Katrina survivor. She's got pre-K, post-K. That's what she calls it, which is hilarious. Because at the school I'm at, we have pre-K, so I get that. Um, love that way of saying it, pre-K, because that was kind of how her life changed for a lot of people who live there in that region. We talked about the depths of New Orleans, and you kind of get that New Orleans was kind of a ground zero for the underworld in that JFK movie, and she shared a lot of that in her life, and you know that there was a even a big mafia name, a big mafia name. She had seen him numerous times through friendship that she had. But and this is all goes back to our innocent days where we're just flying by the seat of our pants, living in the world. We don't know anything. We're young, and but yeah, I mean, she's seen a lot, been around a lot, been through a lot, and of course, the Lord brings you through. That's what I wanted to know. I wanted to know where she came from, where she started from, and then she told how the story just one day she's led to go get a Bible and start reading it. And she's a very thorough, meticulous person, a note card type person, and that's why she's able to recall so much stuff in the Old Testament. And and then we started getting to the questions and things she had questions about, and I think I answered them. I think the Holy Spirit answered them in a way that's understandable. It was just one of the things that I think um, she got some clarity on, which is also the other reason I wanted to talk to her. It wasn't just to know about her life, but it was just sometimes you just can't quite get to things by asking questions in the comment section. And I get pretty lazy to the point to where I'm not going to write y'all a long answer. I would rather just do a video on it. Sometimes even my videos might not click the answer, especially if God intends for us to speak. He will keep enough gray area there to where we provoke each other to get on the phone with each other, because the Lord does want the church to commune with each other, face to face or voice to voice. And so the Lord had enough questions in her mind to where she wanted to talk, and I had enough questions from her questions to where I wanted to talk to her. And then we ended up having this amazing, fruitful conversation. So thanks again, Jamie. And but one of the things she needed clarity on, and she got clarity on, was that a there's three different phases in the end times book of Revelation. There's World War III, or war, famine, death, known as the four horses of the apocalypse. Rider on the white horse, crown corona, and then red horse war, black horse famine, pale horse death to 1/4 of the earth, which we believe would be 2 billion people, because there's 8 billion on the earth. And then the Antichrist would then come back from the dead after World War III to save the day, to save Mother Earth, and to take man through their final evolutionary stage to godhood. And once that process takes place, known as the abomination that causes desolation, once that takes place, at that point, you're then getting into um, the Great Tribulation, because now people are worshiping the image of the beast. The entities are entering into the humans. The humans are now, at the very least, what you would call possessed, and they are chopping the head off of the bride. That is Satan's Great Tribulation. So you had the four horses, or World War III. Then you have Satan and his Great Tribulation on the church. We're all in this together, or to get her being the bride of Christ. And I just heard a local grocery store, which is all over the Southeast United States, talking about go get the poke. We're all in this together. And I'm like, yeah, we got you. Now, the poke would, at the very most, is to connect you to the technology. And at the very least, it's just part of a ritual. Somewhere in there is the truth. And if it's all about connecting you to the technology, then it's going to continue to be forced upon everybody. And sheep, the worst it could do is make you ill or sick. But for the goats, it'll be connecting through the technology. But if it's just part of a ritual, it'll die out as soon as World War III begins. And if World War III, if they then are saying it's back and it's worse, and military is all over the place giving everybody a poke, then it is tied to the technology. So we're just not sure. Those are things we just won't know until they happen. But then once the Great Tribulation takes place, then Jesus comes back early, or no flesh would be saved. We went through that. And then you get into God's wrath. And that's what we escape. And so that's what she learned, what all of that escape was about. The escaping. And she used Lot as an example, and other people in the Old Testament being hidden in caves, and how Noah was escaped. And I said, yes, they're not escaping Satan's, any type of Satan tribulation. They're escaping the wrath of God. And that's what it means when you see those escapes in, I think it's Luke 21:36 and so forth. Which we, and we covered some of that yesterday too in Luke 21:36. So, but everything was meant for her and I to get together. Let's go on with something she revealed to me, because I haven't been paying any attention to it. At the 1260-day mark from what people are calling the wonder in heaven, where, it was, the Revelation 12, where the bride, there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet. Well, allegedly, all of that astronomy took place 1,260 days from today. And 1,260 days from today, to mark that, the Chaldeans and the astrologers were the supernatural, connected to demons, soothsayers and seers and psychics and astrologers and the Chaldeans of the days of Babylon. And so he goes there. Chaldean mass. The magicians, the Chaldeans, the astrologers, Daniel. Oof, boy, it cut me right off and went right to Daniel 2, Daniel 2:2, Daniel 2:10, Daniel 2:27. The king commanded that the magicians, the enchanters, the sorcerers, and the Chaldeans be summoned. So hang on just a second. Wow, I was doing a big old Facebook post on it. as I was coming across it, and then it just disappeared, which it's done before. It'll say something went wrong. Well, that's just the Lord telling me, don't post it. It'll all be here. But you see the word Chaldean, Daniel 22. Daniel 2:2. The king commanded, call the magicians, the astrologers, the sorcerers, and the Chaldeans. That's who the Chaldeans were. And of course, I learned astrology at St. Joseph Catholic Church in Winter Haven. And of course, Pope Francis delivers Chaldean Mass in Iraq. So that's on the 1260-day mark. And next year, and then 30 days, there's also 1290 days mentioned in Daniel. I said, well, I told Jamie, I said, well, that's 30 days from now. And she's like, that's Easter weekend and all that. So we talked about how Friday is the No Time to Die date when the James Bond movie is released, No Time to Die. And then would he rise on the Easter Sunday of that day? Now, if he goes down then, that goes against everything they showed us in The Dark Knight Rises. Well, not really. Dark Knight Rises. And I Pet Goat. I Pet Goat was definitely done in the winter, and he comes up through a full moon. Did I already show y'all the Revelation 12 sign, the prophecy that was September 23rd, 2017, which is apparently when Satan is thrown down and is given a short time, which of course is what, 6 months, 7 months, 9 months, 9 months and 3 days after Trump was inaugurated as president. Which is that 9 months or 8 months? 8 months. Sorry, 8 months and 3 days after Trump was inaugurated president. And yeah, when you subtract the 1260 days, it went right back to that date. So today was the 1260 days, and Jamie said there's also that 1290 days. There's 1260 days, 1290 days. 1260 days, 1290 days, Bible verse, Daniel. Why do Daniel and Revelation give varying accounts of 1260, 1290, 1260, 1290, and 335 for the Great Tribulation? Well, to me, what they would be doing, see, the Great Tribulation doesn't begin until after the Antichrist declares himself to be God in the temple. And of course, the Antichrist has received his deadly wound for that to take place first. But what they could be doing is a year in advance, once again, foreshadowing, which is what we've been telling you, that 2022 is when he goes down and when everything begins. But that this year is kind of like the foreshadowing of it all. Unless he does go down, if he goes down on that Friday, that, of the Easter weekend, then rise up on the third day of Easter, and then the day afterward is the 1290th day. So, and I said that could all take place. It's just that it doesn't go along with I Pet Goat and the Dark Knight Rises, because see, when he went down in the Dark Knight Rises, it was not winter. Later on, it was winter. And I said to Jamie, what if winter in I Pet Goat, all the snow and the winter, just meant, because winter, the dead of winter, winter can also mean bad times. Let's just see what they give us. The dead of winter idioms. Dead of winter, found on Wikipedia. The dead of winter idioms. Let's just say definition of winter.
Here's the definition.
Winter, Merriam-Webster. The fourth definition down, a period of inactivity or decay. Verb, to pass the winter. Sorry, it's really some of these websites, man, they're loaded with so much stuff. They don't want to move. See, all that stuff was loading. I knew it was coming. So if in The Dark Knight Rises and an iPad Goat, if it was, if the snow is falling, seeming, it being seemingly like winter, it would have just been a parallel, meaning what they called the dead of winter, death, darkness, decay, inactivity. Because think about it, when the bombs stop dropping, oh, there'll be activity, but inactivity as far as going to the grocery store, like all of our normal activities will cease. And you'll be in survival mode, as they say. So, God, this one here is still spinning. Cold season, blah, 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 blah. Months of blah, 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 blah. Or the adjective of relating to, or a characteristic of winter. So I just wonder if Trump was to go down this spring and rise on Easter, the iPet Goat, because when he went down on The Dark Knight Rises, it wasn't winter. It was winter when Bane and all of them were, rolling their Batman equipment through the streets. Tank, camo, tanks, so on and so forth. Martial law. Everyone looks so gray and depressing in winter. So was it just a parallel? Now, I, of course, take it literal. I think he goes down on Valentine's Day because of all the hearts in iPet Goat. A year as reckoned by the season, typically cold period of decline. Well, here it goes. Here's another definition in Collins Dictionary. Any period of decline, dreariness, adversity. Any period. Any period. Any period. So in that particular case, they're, going more along those lines that we were talking about. Here it is, third definition, a period of time characterized by coldness, misery, barrenness, or death. Bingo. So if he goes down 30 days from that, well, that Easter weekend on that Friday, what they call Good Friday in that church from Rome, and he was to rise on the third day, which would be Easter, and everything would then go into chaos, and we would slowly get into World War III within a month later, probably. But here we would start the martial laws, the rioting, and all of that. That would be our, you talk about coldness. It would be the emotional coldness would come upon the earth. But I like the misery, I like the barrenness, and I like the death to all relate to what we're talking about. So that's really making a leap and a stretch. But hey, be ye as wise as serpents, yet harmless as doves. When Joseph referred to me as a snake, I'm like, hey, be ye as wise as the serpents. I'll take it from that perspective. So it's, and what would 1235 days be? That's 40. That's 75 days. And then we're looking at May 20th on a Thursday for another big day. If it's all happening this year, I think it's all happening next year. And I think next year just kicks off World War III. I think the abomination and so forth could come on the super full moon, which is on Trump's birthday next year, when he will be 666,216 hours old. And we know 216 is 6 times 6 times 6. So, and then that would be kicking off the Great Tribulation. So we'll see. It's good stuff by Jamie. I'm glad she told me that, the Chaldean Mass, and the Chaldeans were the astrologers. And of course, there's the Catholic Pope melding with astrology. And that's who taught me, that first taught me astrology, was at my Catholic school. Pope Francis delivers Chaldean Mass in Iraq. Of course, Babylon was in Iraq. First day in Iraq, Pope Francis pays tribute to Christian martyrs. Great chat with Jamie. Hope you all enjoyed today's study. And is that everything? Let's go to comments and see if anything's in comments. All right. And there's some I haven't gone over, so let's do that. Cynthia Wood, after watching Donald Trump, the Antichrist Part 1, said, I believe Trump is the first beast of Revelation. That would be the beast out of the sea. And I believe he is too. Then she says, ... the lion. I'm not sure what Bible verse she's referring to. I don't follow the lion part. She says Biden is the calf. I don't follow that either. It doesn't mean you're wrong. I just don't understand it. When we're doing emails and comments or things get lost in translation, just know, Cynthia, that I just don't know what you mean. They are both trying to serve the Antichrist. Well, Donald Trump is the Antichrist. He's the beast out of the sea, the first beast in Revelation. It's the Order of the Phoenix, the Vatican against the Golden Dawn. I'm not sure what that means. I can't give you a thumbs up because I just don't understand what you're saying. I'm not saying that you're wrong past they both trying to serve the Antichrist. Trump is the Antichrist. Also, because he's here in his own name. A horn is a trump, and the little horn of Daniel 7 was the Antichrist. And Trump Tower's 5 multiple addresses match the little horn of Daniel 7 passage as the Antichrist, 721 through 725. That's Trump Tower's 5 multiple addresses, 721 through 725. You go to Daniel 721 through Daniel 725, and you see the passage of the horn as the Antichrist. A Winter to Remember said also Elvis was the first king and Michael Jackson was the second king. Yeah, he had the king of rock and the king of pop, I think is what he's talking about. Michael Jackson had the same death date as Trump's father. Well, that's interesting. That would have been June 25th. Trump also says he used to look like Elvis when he was younger. Very interesting. Just more foreshadowing about to think about. Yep. Sea and earth are representative of their race. Okay, and he's talking about is me saying Trump is beast out of the sea, and the false prophet is the beast out of the earth. And we sometimes think that could be Obama. And in that thought, he says, sea and earth are representative of their race, since there is more water on the earth than there is land. There are less blacks than whites. It fits perfectly. Well, very true. I don't know if he's the false prophet, but that is an interesting thought process. So we'll give him the uh, heart and the thumb up. RL concerning Joseph Aqua, he says Psalm 80 and 81 are about the witness of Revelation. 10 and 11 equals son of man equal Joseph, whose temple body God spirit is in you, favor live like magnificent splendor. I'm not sure everything that he's saying. I don't know who this person is, and I don't know. It's too much. It's just too much for me to go over based off where I'm at with stuff. Do you believe there is a real hell? Well, let's give them exactly what hell is and then what hell isn't. It's on my playlist, Hell is Not Eternal Torment, Bible Proofing Part 1, and it's a 4-part series. All right. Watch all 4 parts after viewing. It's a total of about an hour and 45 minutes worth. Then you tell me what I believe. Tell me if you believe it. You know what I mean? I'm not answering the question with a question. I'm answering the answer with a video that will explain everything fully. All right. So we still think Trump goes down next year. But if we want to add in okay. 2nd of April. No Time to Die releases, because he won't really be dead, will he? He'll be alive. It may be the Day of the Dead in that James Bond. Oh, I know what I wanted to look up, were the full moons. Full moon dates for 2021. I'm not thinking I'm going to be doing any more astrology and stuff, even to try to figure out what they're doing, or gematria. We're only going to use gematria for Trump Antichrist, 666 proofage. After the whole ordeal with Joseph, I'm not feeling anything. I feel like the Lord was just saying, get out of all of it. So I'm not going to be showing you any astrology taking place anymore. We're not going to be going to any astrology sites. We're just going to, the Holy Spirit's just going to have to show us stuff. We're not going to go to their world to try to use their world to figure out their world. And we get the whole be ye as wise as serpents, yet harmless as doves. We're just going to try it a different way. We're going to try to be wise as serpents without using serpent material, which I think will make Marie very happy and others very happy. Let's just do it that way. So the worm full moon is next. So the new moon in April, date 2021. The new moon is April 12th. So yeah. It's going to be a quarter moon waning. Moon phases 2021.
Here is information from calendar-12.com.
Third quarter. It's Sunday, April 4th on Easter. It's not fitting I Pet Goats moon, the looks of the moons. And we have to stretch the word winter to get it to fit. But they could have been lying to us, an I Pet Goat, couldn't they? Sure. So that's it. That's where we're at. No Time to Die releases Friday, April 2nd, right before that final quarter. Difference between waxing and waning moons. I think the waning is when it's getting smaller. Yeah, waning is the opposite, or decreasing after the full moon. So it will be the quarter moon, a waning moon on Easter Sunday. All right, y'all, that's it. I love you very much.